Hey everyone, welcome to Matt's Garage. It's Saturday. Thought I'd do something a little differently today. I'm pouring myself a Diet Coke here, waiting for folks to join. There's no mixers in that, just Coke, unfortunately. But I don't like working with power tools and drinking at the same time. So it's been a busy Saturday. Let me just show you what I've been working on. The dash, as many of you know, is something I've been trying to get done with the Bronco, fitting the Bronco dash and the Scout, and I pretty much finished. It was obviously I need to clean up the welds and stuff, but it was really tricky because I needed to be able to get my vent holes down here for the defroster, and you can see here it's really hard to get that angle, but I think I've got it finally, so I'm happy about that. Right now, you can see I'm trying to get the whole visor thing figured out. I had the gauges mounted and they were way up high. I don't like that. I brought them down. I still didn't like that. I'm realizing I need a pretty decent visor because if you don't have a visor on your gauges, they just reflect in your windshield. So I need to figure it out. The problem is, even though it's a straight dash, getting all the angles is actually not that easy. So, yeah. So basically, I'll fit it up, and then it'll look funny, and then I'll use cardboard, and that'll look funny, and then, I'm just tweaking. I was in the middle of tweaking, and I thought, you know what, let me take a break. Let me go live, give you guys the opportunity to ask any questions. Yeah. But it's Saturday, so everybody's probably out having a good time with their family, which is what they should be. My family's at a birthday party, or they just got back, so I had a lot of time in the garage. So that looks pretty good, right? I mean, I think it looks kind of natural. So basically, I've got 3 attachment points. Let me just sit on here. So I've got 1, 2, 3 points of attachment on the sides, and then the screws up top on the cowl, and it's very sturdy. I mean, it doesn't move at all. Obviously, it doesn't have any of the holes cut in it for like the stereo and the gauges and whatever. So it'll get a little less sturdy once I finish all that, but it's right now it's pretty solid. What else is going on? Not much. I mean, see, the thing is I have to finish the dash, because once I finish the dash, I can place everything. And then once I place everything, I can tear it all off and then fill all the holes that I don't need in my firewall. The way I locate the dash is going to determine where I'm going to mount my ECU, where I'm going to mount my fuse box, how I'm going to route my defroster vent lines, where I'm going to locate those. Do I have clearance for my ignition, my headlights, my windshield wiper, all that stuff. And that's not the type of thing you want to guess on and then go to assemble and then realize you got to modify painted parts. So that's why I'm taking my time doing it right. You guys saw I got my fuel injection kit. The ECU is not that big, but it still needs a spot. Oh, thanks, Klotz All-Star. Yeah, look, I mean, it's funny. There's this Bronco parked 2 miles from here. It's stuffed in between 2 containers. And it's obviously like not running and hasn't run in years. So every time I drive by that thing, I'm like, when I finish the Scout, maybe, So I appreciate you watching. Most of the stuff I do applies to everything. I mean, it's a Scout, but really there's almost nothing Scout left in it. It's a Chevy engine, Jeep transmission. It's got a Scout transfer case, but the axles are Dana 44, same as the Bronco, well, at least in the front. And all the suspension, all that stuff applies. All the fuel tank mods I'm doing, looking forward to doing that. Again, here, so everything's cascading, right? So with the fuel tank, let me just walk to the back here. Yeah. What would make me happy is driving the thing. But so the fuel tank sits right under the back of this bed, right? But you can see all the holes and everything. Well, I don't want to be shooting weld onto my newly painted fuel tank and not being able to back the holes up as I'm welding to them. So I need to finish closing up all the welds before I mount up my fuel tank, right? I'm not going to close up all my welds till I know where I'm routing everything. I'm not going to know where I'm routing everything until the dash is done and everything's finalized up front. Then I'm going to work front to back, figure it all out. I also need, I make notes to myself to remember stuff. So for example, I want to run I have this air compressor. Let me show you next to my trash bag here. I need to take the trash out. This is a Via Air onboard air compressor. Now, it kind of sucks, I'll be honest. Like, it doesn't put out a ton of CFM, but if you let it run for a while and it fills up the tank, it's not a bad amount of air to air up tires. You can't really run power tools on it for more than a few minutes, not even a few minutes really, but that requires a lot of power. So I got to run a heavy gauge wire to the back. So I also want to, trailer lighting. I want a backup camera, and see, I'm already forgetting things I want to run to the back, but maybe some rear lighting. So all those circuits, I gotta remember to route those when I'm doing my planning and I'm setting up my wiring loom. Let me show you my cage actually. Let's go out to the roll cage. This is just kind of a chitty chat session here. I don't have any plans. It's just Saturday. I figure give you the daily dose of Matt's Garage. So my cage is out here, all right? And it's not a bad cage, but what happens because the way this tire carrier, which is actually pretty, I really like this tire carrier. So you can imagine wheel wells over here somewhere. There's really no need for this back bar. And by being so far back, I lose all this space back here. So I bought some, the next size down 120 wall. I'm gonna cut this and then move it forward, okay? And then by doing that, I'll be able to use, this will be right behind the rear wheel well, and I'll be able to weld a 3-point seatbelt tab to here. So I'll be able to have 3-point seatbelts in the back for the kiddos, which is like one of my build goals. And it'll, again, free up the space behind the wheel wells. Like the way that cage works right now, it's actually blocking the fuel tank filler access right here. Like it sits right here, which is lame. So I'm gonna move it over here. Also, the more important thing is where the cage sits. Thanks, Leapsai. Oh yeah, me neither, man. It's gonna be sweet once it's done, I mean, it's got a good look to it. What I'm doing right now is, you can see, I'm not gonna use this. I'm gonna make one out of ABS plastic, but I kind of want to put this at an angle up so that I'm looking down at the gauges, but it's gotta be at the right way so that the visor, A, blocks the reflection off the windshield, and B, doesn't block my view to the gauges. So, and I want it to look good, right? So if it comes out square like this, it's gonna look boxy and lame. I want it to come at an angle, but you can see there, that's my shot down the steering column, right? So if I have too much of an angle, I'll block off my steering column, but the angle looks better. So I have some old exhaust pipe, and I'm gonna make a cutout so that this bottom support angle comes up and over, and then I'll make sorry for the noise, I'll make a corresponding notch in the bottom here, like a half circle. So I think that'll look pretty good. It would look very custom. So, but I tell my kids, like, bolting stuff together and cleaning stuff up, it goes by very fast. Like you can get a lot done and you feel like you're making progress, but as soon as you start fabricating parts, everything slows down. There's a lot of trial and error. It can get frustrating because you're not seeing progress being made. With the dash, I have spent hours thinking about how to get that angle. I'm just going to show it again for those guys just joining, but And the key was really doing it in two parts. I was trying to make one part, and there's just no way. I don't have the tools. I missed that comment. Sorry, I was thinking. But welcome. So it really ended up doing two parts. So I made one part here that bolts with the factory. First of all, I welded 1024 weld nuts back here because I hate the clips. I hate clips. So I welded 1024 weld nuts on the 6 factory Cal screws. I think the Bronco has these too. It has. I also, so the only thing I hate more than those tabs is or those clips is screwing into sheet metal. That just drives me nuts. So welding little. Let me show you these weld nuts I got here. Actually, these are great. So I've got a whole collection of weld nuts here. These are the bigger 5/16. These are 1/4 20, and these are 10/24. We welded all the nuts to John's Bronco. It's done. Oh, good. See, that's the key. So anyway, where was I? Right. So I took a piece of sheet metal and it's got a curve. You can see the curve. So I screwed that in here, okay, and then that sort of dives down. Yeah, definitely. The nuts are anyway. So then I notched that flat bar and then bent with just a body hammer a slot for the defrosters. These are similar to the Bronco defrosters, right? So I can attach those in here, and then I put another flat plate on the front of the dash. And then using my metal brake, which I'm going to show you guys again, because I got to tell you, this is one of the most used tools I have in my shop. I made it myself, and it works amazing. So basically, it's just thick angle iron, 2 pieces, right? Sorry for the loud noise. Okay. So basically, I've got a bottom die here, which is just I took angle. The Anything Scout roll. Oh, why did I buy him? Sorry, can you ask that question again? So that's angle and then 2 pieces of thinner angle welded together, and that's my bottom die. And then my top die, again, is just angle. I'll have to build 275 gallon smoke. Awesome. It's just an angle with some tube on top, and those two in conjunction make a pretty sweet press brake. So I just used that press brake. I basically fed this upper bar. Yeah, I'm gonna answer that question. I basically fed this upper bar slowly through that thing and then got it to brake. Somebody was asking, do I feel more embedded in the Scout? I gotta tell you, I learned a lot from the Bronco. If I was saying earlier that there's this abandoned Bronco kind of that's in my neighborhood. It's not abandoned, it's on a property, but it's like obviously neglected and just rotting away. And like if I got that Bronco now, I would do it totally differently. I wouldn't take the sheet metal apart. I would just replace panel by panel. And I got a lot of advice telling me to do that, but I'm a stubborn SOB, so I was like, I'm gonna do it my way. And if you don't have a jig like those shops have, you just get lost over time. Like there's just no way to keep track of your angles and your openings, and you're inevitably gonna make a mistake. And so I overcame all those. I got the body reasonably square, but at that point I had so many hours in, I had so much left to go, I was like, I'm fed up. So I'm not making those mistakes with the Scout. Like I'm taking my time, I'm thinking it through, and it's just a lot more, I don't know how to say it, like I'm a lot more zen working on the Scout. I don't feel like I'm losing every time I come out to the garage. I feel like I'm gaining ground. And I can see it, like the vision is there, like it all makes sense to me. But the reason it's taken so long is because I'm fabbing everything, right? Like because I'm doing an AX15 swap, I had to fab all the twin stick shifters. I had to fab a hydraulic clutch mount. I mean, I didn't have to, but the mechanical linkage was not going to work the fork is on this side and the clutch is on that side. So I made that mount and the firewall. And then I spent quite a lot of time on the Hydro Boost. Even though the holes are already there, getting a stock Hydro Boost to work is actually a fair amount of work. You can buy a spacer that'll make it easier, but it sticks it way further out the firewall, and I wanted a super clean engine bay. And I mean, just there's so much work to do in the fenders, right? Like all these holes need to get filled up, all the plastic tabs need to come off. Then I'm gonna put weld nuts on the back of that. Yeah. Hey Jason, how you doing? Hey, you're a fabricator now. I saw your welding photos. That's awesome. I've got this heavy duty battery mount for my battery. That's going to go here on this firewall. I got to put weld nuts behind there, but that's kind of a pain because it's just like a long tunnel. So I got to like figure out a way to hold a weld nut back there and get those welded in. And then I got to close up this butcher job that they did on my inner fenders when they did the shock towers I used to have, the big shock towers. And with these short shock towers, I got to make sure I dimple it, or I put like a relief in it so I can still get my bolts through for the suspension. Sorry if I'm jumping around a bit. I'm just, normally when I do a show, it's like I have a point, I got to get it done, I got 5 minutes, but I'm trying something a little different. So yeah, so the Scout's going well. And I am going to go back and try to figure out my gauge mounting pod. That's going to probably be a few more iterations because the angles, man. It was a funny angle. So, yeah. And then, dude, that's just the beginning of the pain, right? So once I finish that and I take the dash off, I close up all the holes. Then I got to strip whatever I'm going to paint, at least to the point where I can put epoxy primer on it. And then I got to get into the body work. It's going to be an S show. And that doesn't even take into account, I got to rebuild my motor. You guys saw I got Vortec heads for it. So this motor actually only has like 15,000 miles on it. I bought it new in 90 something. But my only worry is like those are hard 15,000 miles because it never really ran right. So I'm hoping that when I crack these heads open, like I can see my hone marks. If my hone marks are there, I'm golden. If it's scored or jacked, that block really isn't worth machining. So then I've already got the head, so I'm kind of assed out. I got to figure something out. So that's the plan. I mean, everything takes time. Look at this heater box, right? Works. I've tested the motor. It blows air really well, but I'm not going to leave it like this. I could, and a lot of guys do, but it's just not my style. So I'm going to blow it apart, sandblast it, paint it black, put it back. Oh yeah, thanks Leapsci. Yeah, those affordable fuel injection guys, it's a super small shop, right? I mean, it takes it's not like Holly where you order it and it's there like on Tuesday. It takes a few weeks, but I don't know. I just wanted to try something really different. Everybody is having problems with the Phytech. It's ridiculous. And John's happy with the ProFlow, but the ProFlow, it's tall, it's heavy. I mean, it's hard to mount, but it's beautiful, but it's also complex. Like the TBI is like super simple. So, and it's not cheap, but hopefully it's reliable. And as far as those speed hut gauges, those are some awesome gauges. I have full confidence they're going to work out, but obviously I'll do a report on them once it's set up and done. Okay, guys, I've taken enough for your Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. Wait, could you make a snappy catchphrase like Nashville? Making your Scout. Well, one time I made fun of him, actually, Tim. I said, I said, welcome to Matt's Garage, where I'm showing you how not to turn your Bronco into my nightmare Bronco, which is quite appropriate. John is a better salesman than I am. Like, I probably should shill a little bit because it actually drives subscribers and viewers, but the subscribers I have are awesome. Thanks, Leapsci. And I don't know. I'm cool with it. It's a hobby. Anyway, enjoy your weekend. I'll see you next time on Matt's Garage, all right? See you guys. Let me see if I can stop this thing. Hello? Hello? What? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm done. I just can't figure out how to, there you go.